Hello there, how are you? So today I want to talk about something that is actually part two of what I mentioned yesterday. Yesterday I talked about how to delay instant gratification so that you can achieve your bigger goals, right? Sometimes you have to make sacrifices in the present moment so that you can get to where you're going, and you have any sort of change in habit is going to cause discomfort, right? So one of my followers asked me, okay, so what do I do with that feeling that I'm missing out on life and that I should be giving myself pleasure and that I want to feel that instant gratification? I think it's really hard for people to deal with that. And that's absolutely true. And there's a number of reasons why we have a hard time dealing with instant gratification, putting it off, and with all of that, with reaching our goals and self-sabotage. And I would like to start this video out by actually adding a bit of context. And the context I want to bring is the way that pleasure is viewed in our society, because there's a lot more to it than it seems, okay? Hey, Savannah, how are you? Welcome. So the way that pleasure is viewed in our society is not really in the healthiest way. All different types of pleasure are forbidden, or you're not allowed to have them even though they're natural. And this kind of messes up people's minds when it comes to pleasure. So let me give you some examples so you understand what I'm talking about. One thing that is forbidden for women is their sexuality. So you don't have access to all of yourself, right? You have to pretend that you don't feel sexual pleasure or sexual desire, or you can't talk about these things because you're scared of being labeled a whore. So you're born with sexuality, and female sexuality is like so deep. We can have multiple orgasms, whereas guys, they come and then generally that's it for them. And women generally have even much stronger orgasms than men. So, female sexuality is so deep, and we have to like deny it in the way that we exist. And so that's one way that pleasure is denied. Another way that pleasure is denied in our society is through being a martyr. We have this idea that people who sacrifice themselves, even hurt themselves in the name of others, who neglect themselves, are somehow morally superior. And it's really hard for many people, particularly women, to understand that you have to save yourself first, and you have to feed yourself and fill your own cup first before you can do this for someone else. I was a flight attendant for 10 years, and for 10 years I had to tell passengers that you need to put your oxygen mask on yourself first before you do it on your children, and there's a reason for that. So another way that pleasure is not allowed is if you do something just for the pleasure of it. Many people will judge you. Many people, they won't understand why you work so hard on your music or on your art or on whatever it is that doesn't bring you money, because for many people, the measure of success or the measure of something being valid is how much money you can make, right? And it can't be just something that gives you pleasure. Well, that's not valid. Another way that pleasure is forbidden is, again, linked to the idea of sacrifice. This idea, this belief that you have to toil to make money, you have to suffer, you can't sleep, you have to work hard, you can't have a social life. So this idea that there's always like all of this stress involved in generating income, it can't just flow, you can't just have abundance and like it be easy and stuff. No, you gotta, obviously you have to work your ass off in the beginning and stuff, but the whole point is to get to a place where it's sustainable and pleasurable for you, because like you're trying to create a certain lifestyle, right, for yourself. So, there's another way that pleasure is forbidden is if you're talented or beautiful, or if you shine or draw attention to yourself. There is an unwritten social contract where you're not allowed to be a lot better than either the person who's at the top of whatever group you're in, or you're not allowed to be above average in relation to your friends. So oftentimes we're beautiful, talented, and we have these skills, but we won't show them because we feel that it makes other people uncomfortable. So like you can't even enjoy the fact that God gave you all these skills and that you developed them, and it feels really good to use them, and you feel safe in your skin because you know you have these tools that you can use and they're yours. No, you can't show all of that comfort in your own skin, all of that pleasure. You know, you have to minimize your accomplishments and hide your light because it might be a challenge for someone else. So that's the context we're working with. That's generally how we deal with pleasure in our society. So then what do? We're not allowed to be ourselves in a number of different ways, right? Everybody has to fit into the little cookie cutter mold idea. And you have to find pleasure somehow. And sometimes it's like, it just, you know, it explodes out of you, this need to find pleasure, and you'll use drugs, sex, or you'll watch Netflix like all weekend long and just not think at all. You will go into, like, to the opposite direction because you need to feel some sort of pleasure. That's just something that you're born with. We are people who feel all sorts of things. You know, we feel pain, but we feel pleasure, and this is part of who we are. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to reframe the way that we deal with pleasure. And I'd like to reframe that according to two truths. And I think if we contemplate these two truths, our relationship with pleasure will be a lot healthier, okay, and a lot more simple, less ridden with guilt and shame, all right, and a lot more straightforward and easier to manage. So the first truth is, if you don't feel pleasure today, you won't get to where you're going. The truth is, doesn't matter what you're trying to do, whether you're trying to become emotionally independent or financially independent, or get out of a toxic relationship, or I don't know, be a better mom or lose weight. It doesn't matter what it is that you want to do that's important for you. You're gonna have to work for it, and it's gonna be hard, and you're gonna deal with more challenges than you expect. And if the moment by moment process of getting there isn't pleasurable enough for you, you will lose your strength and you'll want to give up. You will not get to where you're going. So you have to find ways of bringing pleasure into your current existence, because it's what fuels you. Pleasure is what makes us, pleasure and pain. This is what makes us keep moving. So you have to find it in the oh my God. Do you hear that? Those are street cats fighting. Oh my God. It scared the crap out of me. Okay, let me try to keep going on here. The second truth is, if you don't feel pleasure today, you won't feel it when you get to where you're going, because our brain is trained to do whatever we do frequently. And if you have this mentality that your pleasure is always somewhere else, when I lose weight, when I'm confident, when I have a company, when this or when that, when you get that thing, and I know this from personal experience, you won't be able to enjoy it because your brain is used to the act of pleasure isn't here, it's there. Salvation isn't here, it's in the future. So you're going to receive what you want, and it's easy to see this. There are people who are rich, famous, beautiful, they have families, they have this, they have that, but there's something in their relationship with the things and in their lives and within them that makes them unable to see and fully receive and experience the good stuff, right? So you have to be able to, like, train your brain to understand there is always pleasure here, even if things seem difficult. And where is that pleasure at? So I'm going to give you a 3-step tool to try to reframe that relationship with pleasure. The very first step, and this is going to help you delay instant gratification, because it's going to allow you to have a much healthier relationship with pleasure. You'll go there and get it. There won't be all this crap about pleasure in your mind. So the first step is just observe yourself and start naming what you feel. Name everything you feel. What's it called? Is it anguish? Is it loneliness? Is it boredom? Is it gratitude? Is it power? Is it sensuality? Is it confusion? Is it disconnection? Is it connection? What is it? Just start observing yourself every single day, moment by moment, for a week, and get to know the names of the sensations that are inside of you. Number 2, make a list, mental or written, or on your cell phone, whatever, of the names of the sensations that give you pleasure, the ones that you like, the ones like, you know, safety, gratitude, power, sensuality, acceptance, love, whatever it is that you love. So give names to the types of pleasure that you want. And then the third step is, moment by moment, ask yourself, is what I'm doing going to generate these words, these sensations, these types of pleasure? And if it isn't, then what would? And start making decisions that are aligned with things that would generate the types of pleasure that you want. Jesus Christ, can you hear the cats? Oh, poor cats. Anyway, and then this is going to help you bring pleasure to your present moment so that the trip, you know, to where you're going is sustainable, and also so that when you get to wherever you're going, your brain is already trained to be able to receive that pleasure, okay? So let me know if that was helpful at all. Let me know if you had any insights, if you have any difficulties. Let me know what you observed. I love having this conversation with you guys. It helps me figure out what sorts of videos I should make. Well, if you like the video, then share it. If you really liked it, then like it. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, then subscribe to the channel. There's going to be lots of content in English. I do one-on-one consults, so you can get in contact at my site. The link is in the description, or at info@tarianarocha.com.br, info@tarianarocha.com.br. Or you can get to know my program for children of narcissistic mothers called the Inner Mastery Lab, and you can find the link to that in the description in the YouTube channel as well. So that is it for today. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye for now.